Hey everyone, I got a request to do a run with a human ArcaneBlast Meteor build with a StoneSword weapon. So I'm going to jump into that on hard mode and see what happens. Alright, so with this loadout, I've kind of got a lot of different things going on. I have the melee capability with my weapon. I have ArcaneBlast, which also works better up close. Then I have the Meteor, which is an area of effect attack that has essentially infinite range. And because I'm a human, I have a follower, the Squire, which is great for lots of different things. You can build around him, but he doesn't particularly synergize with any of these other skills. So immediately I'm going to jump into a hazard, pick up an extra overworld item. So I just spammed off ArcaneBlast there. I'm just getting used to targeting it. It's one of the funkier skills in the game. It can be really good with setup, but it's not necessarily a great skill without some setup potential, some way to hold guys close to you or to jump into dudes. I got myself hit for no good reason. I'm thinking about all the build options with this loadout. I think one thing that I could do, a small synergy that exists, is between the Squire and the Meteor. So a lot of enemies are going to want to immediately attack my Squire when I summon him near them. And so if I just go ahead and drop a Meteor immediately after popping the Squire out, it's probably going to hit a big cluster of enemies. Some enemies, however, run away from the Squire, like those Grenadiers, so I have to be a bit careful who I try to bait in. So the other thing is that I do have StoneSword and ArcaneBlast, which both function better up close. And so I really kind of want to get in right up in other enemies' faces and swing at them and pop my ArcaneBlast. Because if you're up close, if you watch here, I hit that guy with 3 of my ArcaneBlast balls. And ArcaneBlast is an incredibly potent nuke if you can manage to hit guys with 2 or 3 balls. If you can hit them with all 8, if you can somehow get inside of them, it's insane. But even just 2 or 3, it's quite good. So I'm kind of split. I've got a really good melee option, and I've got this kind of good range option where I use my Squire to distract and to tank, and then I drop meteors on their head. So there are 2 different ways this build could go. I'm going to see what happens with the items, and depending on how that goes, again, you see with my ArcaneBlast I can easily get 3 on a boss like this. But let's see what items pop up, and from there I'll decide whether I build more around that sort of long distance area of effect setup between the Squire and the Meteor, or if I want to just work around my StoneSword and my ArcaneBlast. Again, as a human you usually have really good options in terms of how you do your build. Because his stats, his stats are not spectacular, they're completely average in every respect. There's not an obvious way you have to go, but at the same time, there's no build path that's going to be terrible. Alright, I'm going to start by sweeping the right side of the map. I want to see if the bazaar is there, and I'm also going to get to scout a bunch of these mountains to see if one of these is the treasure mountain. And so I did find the treasure mountain. I didn't find the bazaar, so I know, because it's never on the first row and it's always on the left or right edge, I know the bazaar's on this left side. Do I really care about the bazaar though? Or would I rather get that mini boss in gold? I'm just going to venture east and see what happens. So in a lot of these fights, I'm just going to be spamming out all my skills whenever the opportunity arises. There's not a super obvious combo. I talked a little about setting up my Meteor with the Squires. It doesn't have to be done. It can be good. At this point, the item pool is starting to try to pull me one way or another. These would both be good with StoneSword. I think that I'll just go ahead and pick up the Fairy Feather Conduit. That's a Warpstone booster.
Heaven one.
And so I'm going to go straight for these upgrades over here. And then maybe I'll work my way back. Actually, you know what? With the Fairy Feather Conduit, I can go check out the bazaar first. And then warp to the right-hand side of the map. So you see there, I dropped my Meteor and my Squire at around the same time. And by doing that, I ensured that the hunter would stop. fight was a little bit shady. It's a little hard to dodge those spirit ninjas. So there's no good way to deal with them. One annoying thing about this build is I don't have any stuns. So it's worth noting that when you can't interrupt enemies, the only way you can really stop damage from coming at you is killing guys really fast. So I probably want some kind of glass cannon-ish build where I'm hitting really, really hard with my Meteors or my ArcaneBlast, or even my StoneSword. I really think all avenues could work depending on what shows up in this first bazaar. Let's see. See, my damage is okay, but not great. So far I haven't really upgraded anything, so it shouldn't be too surprising that I'm struggling a bit. So I'm dusting this first bazaar. That's going to give me more options, and so let's see what's here. Ooh, this is about as ugly as it gets. Nothing's on sale. I could pick up cooldown reduction. I could pick a god. I don't really think I want Sepicles. Actually, Sepicles would be great if I decided to build around my attack. Furor would be great if I decided to build around ArcaneBlast and Meteor Strike. I think I'm going to go that way because the only other item that's relevant here, these Magus Robes, these are really good with Squire. I can spam off Squires really fast. These dramatically increase my my sustained DPS with ArcaneBlast and Meteor Strike because I just get to cast them a whole lot more. So because of what I see in this first bazaar, I'm going for the Spellcaster build. And so I'm going to have one rank of Furor just from purchasing his statue. That'll be a nice DPS boost. And then I'm going to work my way back to this right-hand side of the map. Actually, I won't be able to dust that Wise Man's hut. So let's see what I get from this hazard fight. That was a bit scary. I'm gonna let the hazard do some of the work in killing these guys. Okay, I got another warp stone. That's really not what I was hoping for. Nevertheless, I'm gonna go clear the mini-boss. So it is a Lich. He likes to move around a lot. This Necromancer mini-boss, so he's a little hard to hit with my Meteor Strike, although I can often bait him into attacking by dropping my Squire next to him. Just gotta sort of on my way through. Alright, I wish I had dust. I don't. I'm going to upgrade a skill. Again, nothing is on sale. This run just really doesn't want to push me in any one direction. I could definitely build around my Squire, but seeing as I've already committed to Furor as my god, I think that I'll just go... I'll go for ArcaneBlast, just because I think it's maybe one of the trickier skills to make use of without some kind of setup. And I have no setup here, so I'd kind of like to show how it's done. And again, with the set items, it's, you know, both directions are open. Desolator's Helmet would be great with a hard-hitting StoneSword. Meanwhile, Grandmasters and Shadowform are both really, really good with a skill-based build. I'm just going to go ahead and do Grandmasters. Again, Shadowform would probably be better if I had Disruption. It's really cool when it doubles your stun a second later and therefore basically chain stuns. But since I'm all about damage, I think Grandmasters is going to be the more potent option with ArcaneBlast and Meteor Strike. Alright, so here I'm hoping... I think my level 2 ArcaneBlast is going to one-shot these guys. So you see I lined up these attacks so that I could hit multiple dudes. I'm actually going to probably lose out on the Merciless because of my stupid Squire. I should not have summoned it. Yeah, he just sent a guy running. So that was a mistake. Squires are fantastic for guaranteeing that you get perfect clears here, but they're really bad for helping you get Merciless Defense. And Merciless Defense is worth bonus gold, so I really shouldn't have summoned the Squire. I had enough damage without him, and I probably could have got the Merciless. But you see there, by activating the ArcaneBlast as the enemy is near me, and because my ArcaneBlast is now level 2 and has a relatively larger hit radius, I can get a lot of shots in on this melee enemy. One more blast should do him in. Oh no, I mistimed it. Popped it right before he raised his shield. Alright, let's try that again. There we go. That's what I meant to do. Okay, so I probably need to prioritize healing up. I'm a little low on health. I don't see a town right away. I could pop my healing potion, that's a safe way to go. So I'll just do that, and I'll gain a little more favor with Führer by destroying this temple. So at the moment I'm feeling a little weak, and that's to be expected because I haven't really powered up my skill mastery at all. See, by standing close to the temple, I managed to hit it with a huge number of my ArcaneBlasts. I was kind of foolishly killed some of these enemies before I cleared the temple. That means they were re-raised by Necros. The skeletons, that's okay. Chop my way through. Okay, so there's that town I really wanted. Now I don't want it so much. I still need a lot of different overworld items, so I'm gonna hit it, but first I'm gonna hit this spot. So again, I'm doing that Meteor Squire kind of setup. Get guys attacking. I did take a tiny bit of damage from that Arcanist. That wasn't ideal. It's kind of tricky when you're up against Arcanist in a fire hazard. If you don't have some kind of teleport or stun, which obviously we don't in this run, you got to be very careful about how you approach those fights. Because this skill mastery booster's on sale and I've kind of committed to a skill damage build, I'm going to pick it up. I'll go ahead and pick up these overworld items as well. And a temple to Führer is awesome. If I don't break this, I'm going to be very close to reaching rank 2 of Führer's favor. So you saw my ArcaneBlast just did work there. It cleared out tons of these little mines. It's going to be hard not to hit Führer with ArcaneBlast. So I almost hit him there. Luckily there are all these guys absorbing damage. But that's okay. Oh, I managed to get it flawless anyway, so that's cool. So I'm now very, very close to having Führer. There's no point in visiting the Wise Man at 85 gold. I mean, I suppose there's a chance he'll have something on sale, but I'd like to make sure I have at least 100, so that way if nothing's on sale, I can definitely still get some value out of him. And so here's a loot hook. I'm going to do my sort of customary loot hook dance where I move towards the left edge, not so far left that I can't throw a hook from the right if that angle is favorable, but close enough to the left that I can take an immediate shot at the goblins and then run with them if I miss the initial throw. Bum, 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 bum. All right, so I do see, I really want to hit the jeweler. I want to hit him because I need 2 pieces from the jeweler to complete the Grandmaster's helmet, and I know there's only 1 jeweler in each region. So if I miss out on a chance to make progress on the Grandmaster set here, I'm not going to be able to complete it very easily in a future region. And very luckily, I revealed a gold mountain. I'm going to hit the jeweler first because the shadow has almost swallowed him up, and then I'll be able to hit the gold mountain on my way back. And there is a piece for my Grandmaster set, so I'm probably not even going to visit that Wise Man, because I'm not going to have 100 gold after this. But I am now starting to get a bunch of skill mastery. I'm very close to picking up rank 2 in Führer. I'm very close in completing that Grandmaster set. I mean, a lot of things are looking really good about this build now, and I'm doing a ton of damage. So that's cool. I'm going to work my way up this right side and hope that there's like a bazaar right there in the corner. It would be awfully lucky if it worked out that way, but it's possible. And you see I'm standing close to the enemies and then activating my ArcaneBlast for maximum damage. I destroyed that temple because I don't care about Necros. I didn't want him raising everybody again. Alright, so the bazaar is right here. I'm going to go ahead and dust it and visit. I probably won't be able to buy an item, but if something's on sale, I'm going to snap it up. Okay, oh, and what I forgot, what I obviously should have remembered, is that he will always have a piece of a missing set for 100 gold. So that's more than the set dealer's charge, but it's a great way to finish off a set. So actually, the other item that I want most, the Elixir of Contemplation, which basically will double my damage at the cost of increased cooldowns, is also available and on sale. I know that I can get this Grandmaster's Ring at the jeweler in the next world. So since this thing is on sale and this thing is not, I'm going to go ahead and snap up the Elixir, and that's going to make this run crazy good. So now there is a mini boss. I know the shadow's right on my tail, but if I hit this mini boss, it is 1, 2, 3 spots from the boss, so I can just teleport to the boss. So you're going to see now I do a ton of damage when I got that guy with 3 of my Arcane Blast bubbles, and that messed him up pretty good. He's really not the largest of mini bosses, which means it's hard for me to land all my stuff right on him. But if I'm careful, I can hit him with a few bubbles. And those bubbles are just doing ludicrous damage now. Again, my cooldowns are not as good, so I have to be careful. I don't get as many squires. Squires are great for tanking damage. But you see, when I get right up close on this boss and drop my Arcane Blast, it's doing pretty good work. In fact, insanely good work. My, love Arcane Blast. So you see, even without a setup skill, I have no stun, I have no teleport. Those are both very exploitable with Arcane Blast and can set up absolutely ludicrous combos. But even without those, it is such a good damage skill if you can get into proximity. And because I have a StoneSword anyways, and I kind of want to be swinging up close, I think it was the right choice to level it up. I gotta figure out where's the best place to scan. I've already got, 2 fantastic items for a spell damage build from the Bazaar. So actually, if I visit the Bazaar now, I'm more likely to see items from the rest of the pool, things that might enhance my attack damage or attack speed. So I'm probably not going to prioritize Bazaars at this point. I'm just going to scan this sort of central area, see if I reveal the jeweler, who I really want to see if I reveal a gold mountain. Okay, so I got the blacksmith. That's not who I need to visit to finish Grandmasters, so that's a little disappointing. I do see a wise man, and I do see a great place to get some gold. So I'm going to visit this hazard first, pick up an extra item, because I'm pretty low on overworld items at the moment. And I'm just going to be trying to make sure I hit something every time I invoke these spells. It's not critical that I aim them perfectly. Arcane Blast, you see, is just kind of all over the place. So you can definitely get more value if you line it up right on a guy. But it's no big deal if you just spam it off and let it hit stuff. Alright, Spyglass was great because I was out of those. I do think I'm going to hit this temple. Just to get me over the hump. I'm at 19 favor, so that means I'm very, very close to picking up rank 2 of Führer, and that's going to be a huge DPS boost. I just need to make sure I have all this area of effect damage. I need to make sure I get right up to this temple and blow it up. You see, when I can really utilize Arcane Blast at its full potential, as for example against a really large temple, it just destroys stuff. I think a very overlooked skill overall. I'll take another hazard. It's a little greedy, but... I continue to just throw my Squire out there. He's great for getting guys moving. If I don't want to deal with a bunch of guys at once, if I kind of want to distract them, he's perfect for that. With this Grenadier, he'll just chase that Grenadier down until the end of time, since the Grenadier likes to run away from melee targets. Okay, so here is the jeweler. So I was kind of working my way across the map hoping to run into him, and I was lucky to do so. But now that I see him, I'm definitely going to dust him to increase the probability he has that final piece of Grandmasters, and that's going to set this build off crazy. So that was a little unlucky, actually, that I see 4 out of 5 of the sets here, but I didn't see the one I want. Because this is on sale, that's actually pretty good skill mastery for the gold. I'm not going to really intend on finishing off the Shadow Form set, but I'm going to take it. 20 skill mastery for 55 gold. That's a good deal, and remember I have that potion that's essentially doubling all my skill mastery pickups. So that's going to really increase my burst. I'm going to go here for the bonus gold. Again, just distracting a little bit with my Squire. He doesn't do much. This is an enemy that, because she's so mobile, it's quite hard to land both my Meteor and my Arcane Blast. And so I'm going to be spamming off my Arcane Blast a little. There you see I was lucky that she teleported into it. I can also try to drop my Meteor immediately after she teleports, but even that's no guarantee. So those opportunities where I manage to get into melee range are really where I'm going to get to do a lot of damage. So I'm just saving my Arcane Blast for those few rare cases. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and max out my Arcane Blast. I love the way this build is going. Alright, nothing on sale. I definitely want to take level 3 of Arcane Blast. I'm really building around that now. Okay, Treasure Defense. I will not summon my Squire. I'm just going to try to kill stuff with my skills. Oops, I totally whiffed that guy. So, you see my cooldown's a little long. because I have that Elixir of Contemplation, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this off. So I'm summoning my Squire now. I'd like to be able to do it without scaring anyone away. But I just barely let that guy get away. So I was very close to the Merciless. I probably didn't need the Squire. This is very lucky Bazaar placement. I had moved up here anyways to try to get this mountain, this gold mountain. I know it's going to be worth bonus gold. And so I was going to dust it anyways. I don't need the blacksmith, unfortunately. But I get to dust the Bazaar at the same time. And that's actually going to give me enough gold to shop at the Bazaar when I move there next. So that's cool. But you see with my skill mastery, as insane as it is, even my level 1 Meteor is doing work. But having that ArcaneBlast and having the damage amplification through Furor, if you haven't heard me talk about it before, Furor is fantastic with overkill. So the fact that some of these skills are doing way more damage than the enemy has life is really useful with Furor, because he doesn't care how much life you took off of the enemy. Even if the enemy only has 100 hit points left, if you deal 1,000 damage to them, he's going to count all of that towards his activation threshold, and that's going to cause 2 lightning bolts to strike still living enemies. He's never going to strike a dead enemy. So it's a great way to splash bonus damage off onto other guys. I'm going to go ahead and just complete this set. There's nothing else. Sort of as I had speculated, all this stuff is sort of in support of either a god I don't want, or these 3 items are all for an attack focused build. But Grandmaster set is insane because it means my skill mastery is now being doubled by the Contemplation Elixir and being multiplied by the Grandmaster's effect, which is 1.6x on skill mastery. So, I mean, everything I do is going to hit really, really hard now. It's pretty crazy. Cooldown reduction of 15% is kind of nice. I'll take it, even though it's not the best item, because I've kind of done all the core things I want. I have a completed set. I don't need to worry about completing Shadow Form. It would be a great set to complete, but it's not necessary. So the little extra movement speed, that's going to help me stay alive. I can just walk right up and ArcaneBlast this guy once, and he'll die. I almost killed the other guy just by the leftover ArcaneBlast that bubbled towards him. So, as you can see, this run got out of control. Oops, I let myself get hit for no good reason, but happens when you get a little bit arrogant. Okay. Overconfident, I guess is the word I want. Wise man. It would be cool to upgrade my Meteor. You see the scaling on it is ludicrous with my skill mastery as high as it is. I'll just sort of walk my way that way and see what I see. I'm going to get in between all these guys and pop my ArcaneBlast. You see all that spilled over damage from my Furor God choice. Very nice. Took a little damage from that hazard that I probably shouldn't because my focus was elsewhere. See, even my squires are hitting very hard thanks to that skill mastery boost, even though they're at level 1. Okay, I would like to get Furor to level 3, so I'll go ahead and move here, and I'll take out that temple. I'm not too worried about all these little summons because I know I can always clear them out with a Meteor or with ArcaneBlast. I have very good area of effect damage, so that's not an issue. I wish I had a dust so I could actually make use of that golden mountain, but I don't. Okay, I'm going to try not to summon my freaking squires this time. So I basically just need 1 skill invocation for each kill, and because I'm doing so much damage, I should easily be able to get a Merciless. Alright, bonus gold. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and hit the Wise Man, level up my Meteor. Why not? I'm doing ludicrous spell damage. Why not do way more? I'll kill this mini-boss probably in 2 spell casts. There's 1, there's 2. And I'm wrong. This poor guy doesn't know what to do with himself. Alright, well, I'm not as strong as I thought, but I'm pretty strong. I will go ahead and visit the blacksmith since he's going to let me make progress on shadow form. There's really nothing wrong with moving towards completing shadow form. It's just not that amazingly strong either. I'll hit this temple to try to work towards level 3 of Führer. I'm going to destroy the temple, of course, because I would like Führer's favor, not Necros's. And there's the bazaar. Again, I don't think there's much for me at the bazaar. What I could do, I wish I had a dust. I could visit the bazaar and buy one of the pieces towards completing this blacksmith set, and then I could backtrack and hit the shadow form set. Hit the blacksmith and actually complete the shadow form set if the blacksmith has the item I want. I'm gonna shoot for it. So here, that's another item that would support me in an attack build. I'm all about spells so far. So I'm gonna go ahead and buy that piece of shadow form and hope he does indeed have the last piece and it's on sale. So that's money saved, although I had just enough money to buy it either way. Alright, blowing up Halloran's temple because I don't want none of that. And so you see now every time I cast, my shadow form replicate is casting again afterwards. So shadow form is actually amazingly synergistic with Squire, which is something maybe I didn't talk about. You see he summons a shadow version of my Squire. So even though my Squire can only take one hit, I get a second one that can also take one hit from my shadow form. So here, all I'm going to try to do, I'm going to try to hit the Phoenix with every skill invocation, of course. It'd be silly to waste them. But I'm going to put my Squire on the other side between me. Ooh, I don't want to get hit there. The other side of the Phoenix from me, so that's going to eat up some of his attacks. Actually, my attacks are like super distracting because my ArcaneBlast is so big. I have to be a little careful not to walk into one of his. Alright, glass cannon build is working perfectly. So I can now visit whichever god I want. Which god would be the scariest for this build? I think since my damage is so obscene, both Proctus and Halloran would be pretty easy. Führer, Sepicles. I think Sepicles is the scariest. I have no stuns, so when guys get on me in a hurry, it's really bad. So let's see if I can take him out. Alright, so I actually really needed a little more Führer favor to get rank 3, and RNGesus has blessed me. So I'm just going to go ahead and make my way to the god now. Max favor with Führer, again, that's going to be fantastic in these overkill scenarios. Whenever I blow guys up way too hard, which I'm going to tend to do with my absolutely ludicrous skill mastery, Führer is going to take a big chunk of that damage and spread it out to everyone else via lightning bolts. So that's super handy. Alright, good loot hook. I'll take a hazard fight because I'm feeling cocky. Yeah, the damage is good. I do like watching guys explode. Alright, so I'm putting my Squire out there. You saw my Shadow Squires just sort of gummed up the pathing of the melee guys towards me. So, often a very useful thing to do. You notice that Flesh Eater, he turned around and went after my Squire instead of after me. So, I have these essentially infinite range skills. Of course, ArcaneBlast is best against a single target if I move right up next to them. But I can spam it off from any range, and Meteor is an infinite range skill. So there, now that I have my Shadow form up, I'm just sort of using my Squires as a buffer. And I could actually... I was hoping I would have like Meteor on sale here, but that's okay. I'm going to upgrade my Squire. He's just going to be a little bit tankier. He's going to hit a little bit harder. And then I'm going to make my way to this god. I don't need to worry about taking damage. Obviously, I don't want to die, but if I take a little damage here, I could always backtrack and pick up that cheese that I don't need yet. So here I go. So my Squires are out there distracting them. And I'm just going to blow up anything that gets too close to me. Alright, no need for healing. Here we go. So So again, I'm going to constantly put my squires on the opposite side of Sepicles. That's going to decrease the probability that he turns his attention towards me. And then otherwise, I'm just looking to stay a little bit away from him while I rain meteors down on him, that sort of thing. Okay, now I think I can bully him. Alright, so I gave him a good blast and he's done. Alright, thanks for watching. That was a fairly lucky run, I think, but I think you can see how you can build a lot of different ways, especially a pure nuke build with this particular layout is pretty strong. I also think a melee build could have worked, but who knows. In this particular world, I think this was definitely the way to go because of how the sets and bazaars worked out. Thanks for watching.